Hello and welcome. Wendy Byford here from Your Entity Solution, and we are doing recordings of individuals that we think might be able to help you. We're recording for the Yes Roundtable, where we take women from hustle to scale. My guest is Bill Walters. Bill is a financial professional, and he has a deeply personal mission, and that's to help people from all walks of life, families, individuals, professionals, and business owners build a stable, meaningful, and financially confident future. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you on this interview. So, first, can you explain to me what a financial professional is? I hear that term all the time, but it doesn't really strike a chord. I don't really know what you do.
So, a financial professional provides clarity and guidance to a roadmap for retirement. So, they create a step by step instruction plan, much like when you assemble furniture. We do
Mhm.
the same thing. So, we create a budget, which is a six-letter curse word to most people. And and then we have a budget for everyday living and retirement living. And then we create an opportunity to save either tax free or tax deferred. And
Mhm.
then we have this thing called vacations and spoiling the grandkids. And we put that all into a big fund so
Mhm.
that when you retire, you're able to pay your bills, go on
Mhm.
vacation, spoil your grandkids, and
Mhm.
enjoy the golden years.
Okay. And who do you normally work with now? It says that you've got a passion for families. Who else is really a good target audience for you?
With all these job layoffs, someone who's just left corporate America and is thinking about starting their own solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, or their own company would be an ideal introduction
Mhm.
because I can protect them against taxes, both in the
Uh-huh.
current and in the future.
Mhm.
Also, someone who's just had a child,
Mhm.
right? Because you want to have a game plan of protection for them.
Uh-huh.
And a business owner, right? A business owner, someone who maybe puts a lot of blood and sweat equity into their business and
Mhm.
is really good at their thing, and they don't have a firm handle on an exit strategy and
Mhm.
building up the value of their business.
Now, that's really important because a lot of the people who are going to be watching this will be business owners. A lot of the women that we're working with, of course, we're taking from that what we call the messy middle, where they've started to earn income. They're kind of, they can see that six figures on the horizon, but they haven't got to the point where they are scaling. And this is something that they really need to know about because even though they're in that position of starting up, retirement comes far too fast for all of us.
Yes, retirement, it's, I think the magic number is 35. That once you hit 35,
Mhm.
the years go by in a blink. It takes forever to get there. And then all of a sudden it's like it's Christmas time again. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. And then you're like, well, how many more of these have I have left? Right. So what we're looking at is a change of mindset. Okay. From
Mhm.
retirement, meaning not working, to
Mhm.
trading your time for something that you enjoy doing and it brings you joy. And
Mhm.
it doesn't mean you're not working. It's just that you're not doing the 9 to 5 and you're not forced to do something.
Right. That's a really important distinction because people are living longer. My dad's 102, right?
God
And he
bless him.
retired. He retired when he was 67. So he has all those years when he was doing things that he really enjoyed, but he wasn't, quote, working. For some of us, we love working. And so because we own our own businesses, we have the option to retire or not. But it's always a good thing to have that option, whether you want to do it or you have to do it.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to mentor others. It's a great opportunity to teach someone how to fish, technically, right? Instead of giving them a fish.
Mm.
And also, an idle mind is going backwards. An active
Mhm.
mind is moving
Mhm.
forward because you're always learning. And if you're always learning, you're growing.
Right. So, Bill, give me an example of somebody that you've helped, so people can kind of get a feel for how you work with people.
So I have a couple examples. One example was that I was working with a dentist, and they had 6 people in their practice, and it is a she.
Mhm,
And this doctor uh, didn't have any children, or and is not married, and she
mhm,
wanted to do something for her niece and nephew as well as herself.
mhm,
And she had income coming in, but because she purchased the business, she didn't have a true understanding of how taxes work and how quickly things could be paid back. So we worked on a game plan that took a few meetings to get a true picture of what her business was like, and what was her real profit as opposed to on the book profit. And what we
mhm,
discovered was that she was spending way too much money on Amazon and Starbucks. And
mhm.
and I won't give you the exact figures, but it was staggering. Okay. And 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 then there was a way to reduce that, and the savings by having an espresso machine at work and at home was
Mhm.
going to save her roughly around $10,000 a year in coffee
Wow.
runs. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And then I worked with her on saving money on essential services, which is gas, electric, healthcare cost, um,
Mhm,
cable TV, uh, security system in the house, all those things. And we
mhm,
we had an additional $1,600 in savings. So then she was able to redirect those savings.
mhm.
Now she had disposable income, right? And we were able to redirect the disposable income savings into a
Right.
tax-free retirement plan because we
Mhm.
found all these excess. And she didn't have to change her
Right.
lifestyle. I didn't say
Right.
she couldn't go out to dinner anymore. I didn't say that it was just changing some buying habits
Mhm.
into things that enabled her to have some flexibility.
Right. Great. So, I mean, that's a fantastic service because a lot of times, as small business owners, we're running so fast that we don't pay as much attention to what we're spending as we actually should. And so it can be just, uh, in a lot of ways, just such a wonderful service to have somebody come in and say, "Hey, do you realize that
Yep.
you're doing this?" She probably had no idea how much she was spending on Starbucks. Right.
She did not, and she was kind enough to give me, like, 12 months worth of statements on her credit cards
Uh-huh.
and things like that, and it was eye-opening to her, and her jaw dropped, like, she didn't know,
Mhm. Right.
right? And so it's not the first time that's happened. You
Mhm.
know I also worked with somebody who was recently retired due to disability, and they were in an accident at work, and big lawsuit, 7 years for it to come in, and in that time frame,
Mhm.
it took they listened. They actually listened to me, and they worked on their budget with me, and when the lawsuit came in, they could exhale because they were under control. But what we did was we did similar. We worked on their electricity bill, which I couldn't figure out why it was so high, right? It made no sense to me. Like,
Mhm.
they lived in a similar house that I lived in.
Mhm.
My electricity bill was half the amount, and I'm like, "It doesn't make sense." And then I looked at it, and they were just being charged a ridiculous number, right? And so I was able to get them at a number, well, it doesn't make sense, but 17.89 per kilowatt, and they were paying a ridiculously like way above that. And I don't know how. But anyway, the savings was dramatic, like
Right.
$300 a month savings on month
Wow.
1. And then they went back to me and they said, "Well, my cable TV is running me $332 a month because we have 5 TVs in the house." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's go to work on that." And I was able to get them a streaming service
Mhm.
and cable TV, and it came into just under $175 a month, and they had
Mhm.
it on all 5 TVs, right? So again,
Right.
when you add these little savings together and you can
Mhm.
repurpose them or redirect them into a financial game plan,
Mhm.
you can put it towards, college education for a grandkid, right? Something simple, right?
Right. Bill, last question for you. Let's talk about exit planning. You said that exit planning is one of the things that you do. Most people, when they start a business, are so focused on getting the thing up and running and getting it streamlined and operational so that they can finally take a deep breath and maybe even take a long weekend off or something like that. That they're not really thinking about exit planning. At what point should they start thinking about how they're going to leave the business?
Today, tomorrow. So I guess I'll answer it in a way. They should have an exit strategy when they start the business, but if they don't,
Hmm.
I would not wait beyond 3 years of being in the business, because the roadmap that you're establishing is how to pull money out today to lower your
Hmm.
taxes for today, how to save money from your business in the future so that it saves tax free. And
Hmm.
then how the biggest thing is how to get your books in the correct ratio so that when you are ready to sell, if you're not going to lose your identity, if you let your pride not get in the way, you can create a soft landing spot. Now, depending on the age of the person, right?
Hmm.
And the question is, are they going to want to go into something else, or they want to be advisor on some type of board? But ultimately, the game plan is to set up an exit strategy, get the
Right.
ratios correct to get the top dollar, and then they have three choices. They could either sell it to their employees, right?
Hmm.
They could sell it to somebody who is interested in consolidating like things like accounting departments and HR departments and sales forces, so they have
Right.
consolidation, and that's why those ratios are so important, because they're buying
Hmm.
your customers and your assets. And the
Right.
last thing is that they may want to consider going to a competitor, heaven forbid, somebody they've been working against, and seeing if
Hmm.
they want to, have a buyout, and see what that works. So you have 3 or 4 options to do. And
Hmm.
remember, your identity is not in the business. Your identity is the helping others. So that's really what the key is. So yeah, exit strategies are very important.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Now, for the people who have been watching this, and if they would like to contact you, I'm putting your contact information up on the stage so they can see how to get hold of you. You've told me you have two cell phones, a personal cell phone and a business cell phone. So both numbers are up there. Your email address is up there, and of course, your website so people can find you. Um, any last words before we go, Bill?
Yeah, I would be very cautious moving into the future and with taxes. Taxes are only going to go up from this point forward, whether it's personal and business. You're not realizing it now, but in the future, in 2017, your tax rate is going to go up by 8% unless you're making more than $350,000 a year, in case that goes down. But everybody else below the 350 range, your taxes are going up. So prepare, remove stock market risk from your investments. If you're over 55, eliminate those stock market risk, meaning the downside turns, and put things into tax-free savings, not called a Roth. Okay.
Mhm.
Tax-free savings, not called a Roth. So that's what I would say.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Bill. For everyone who is watching, Bill's contact information is up on the stage. And please write that down so that you can get hold of Bill and find out what he can do for you. Thanks so much, Bill. Really appreciate your being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you in the next interview. Take care.
Thank you.